I'd like to talk to you about financial literacy. If you look at budgeting, budgeting is about what comes in and what goes out. And if you think about it in the simplest terms, you can put it into little buckets. You can have a blue bucket for savings, a green bucket for spending, a purple bucket for donations or your church charitable donations, a red bucket for emergencies, and a yellow bucket for the occasional gift, Christmas, birthday, family stuff. So how do you manage your money? A check comes in, you get paid for the amount of work that you do. And the check is broken up into several different ways. If you look closely, you can see you have the hours that you worked, you have how much money you made per hour, all your tax and FICA things that you have, and then you get your check, and it has the total amount, in this case, $418. But then there's the expenses. This is the money that goes out. You have a house that you have to pay for or rent for an apartment. You have to buy groceries. You have utility bills. You have transportation requirements. It could be a car. It could be that you're paying for mass transit like subways or buses. You have emergencies that come up. The car breaks down. There's a medical emergency. There's a fire. There could be some break into your home, and you have to have insurance or money to take care of those problems. Now, suppose you wanted to take a trip to Disney World with the kids, and there could be some credit cards that you'd like to have, and to be able to manage your cash flow. And of course, you want to be able to save for those things. You want to save for college. You want to save for any number of things. So the first thing you do is you start a budget. With the personal budget, you look at the things such as the salary coming in, which is the gross salary, which is everything that you make. You also then have taxes that have come out. In this case, say it's 15%. And then you have your overall money for the year. If this was to go out all 12 months, it would be roughly $25,000 that you'd make in that year, $25,200. Out of that $25,200, the taxes at 15%, it would be $3,780 would go to taxes. And so your take-home pay would be $21,420. Your expenses would be in the categories of rent or food, your daily living, shampoos, cleaning, dry cleaning. You have utilities. You have transportation. You have health. You have emergencies. Again, that's just the same taxes up there that you had. And you might want to save $10 every time you get paid with the total of your expenses. Then you figure out how much money do you really have available for you. And as you become more and more sophisticated with your budget, it becomes that much more complex, and you can identify more and more things in your budget. So let's go over here and look at the little video that we have about budgeting to make the point again.
Is nothing more than a breakdown and plan of how much money you have coming in and where it goes. While you may find that you need to cut some spending after putting together a budget, without actually sitting down and creating one, it is impossible to know what expenses need to be cut, if any. Tracking income. The first step in creating a budget is to determine how much income you have. This is quite easy and typically only requires you to take a look at your pay stub. Of course, if you're married, be sure to include your spouse's income as well. In addition to your regular pay, you'll want to also include any other sources of income you may have, such as dividends, interest, a side business, and so on. Tracking expenses. Now that you know how much income you have coming in, it's time to take a look at your monthly expenses. Start with regular and fixed payments you have, such as your mortgage or rent, car payments, insurance, debt, and taxes. For most people, these are going to be relatively fixed, meaning you can't easily change the amount that is due each month. After you've listed your fixed monthly expenses, it is time to dig deeper to find out where the rest of your money goes. Take out your checkbook or pull your latest bank statement to help you with this step. Jot down how much you spend on the things like utilities, groceries, entertainment, subscriptions, and so on. This handy worksheet can help you with keeping track of expenses. The bottom line. You should now have all the information needed to help you create your budget. So, go ahead and total up your monthly income and all of your monthly expenses. Subtract your expense total from your income total and you'll have either a positive or negative number. If you have a positive number, congratulations. You are spending less than you earn. Don't worry if you have a negative number. The whole reason for creating a budget is to identify deficiencies and find out how to address them. Now that you can visually see how much you fall short, you can adjust your spending or saving in certain areas to improve the situation. Thanks for watching. To learn more, visit
Okay, now that you have an understanding of what a budget could be like, I'd like to take the opportunity to be able to show you that this world in which we have is a virtual world. In this virtual world, you see there's furnishings. There's, over here on this wall, you can see that you can have streaming live video. The video there you see on the wall, it's no longer streaming, but it was a video of my real world person that I show talking to my avatar person, my digital representation of myself. So you have the capability of showing a digital representation that's talking to a real world representation. Also, you see I have on that wall where we first looked at the first presentation, you had a PowerPoint presentation as if you would see in any other environment. And on this PowerPoint presentation, we also have a presentation that we can talk about keeping a money diary. That may be a basic step that you start. You cannot know what is happening with your finances unless you keep a track of how much money coming in and money going out. We can talk about how to write a check. When you write a check, there's several things that you have to know. If you look at this current check that we have here, on the check, you have several areas. You have the date that you must fill in. And who are you going to pay this money to? Then you have the block in which you put the dollar amount that you're going to write out in numerical form. The next step, after you put the dollar amount in numerical form, you have to write it out so that it's identified. In that case, you had $125, and then you wrote the word 100 with a percentage of 100 of 25. The next thing you might do is put them in the memo area. Why did you spend that money? In this case, you spent it on photography. And then you have to fill in your signature. On a check, you have a routing number, which indicates the name of the bank in which you have this account, and your bank account number. Then you have what is the number of the check you're actually writing. So once you write these checks, you have to keep track of how you're spending the money. And you have a little form here that indicates, in this case, we have a starting balance of $237.47. You have this checkbook has the account written in. In the number or code column, you have the number of the check. Was it a deposit? Was it an ATM withdrawal? Or was it a check number? What date you wrote the check or withdrew the money? A description of who the check was for, or what the money was for. You have, was this paid a payment amount? Was it a deposit amount? And then you And this is just one of a couple of things. We saw how to do a budget. We saw how to write a check. And we looked at how to keep track of the activities that go on the checkbook. So in this virtual world, we got to see several types of activities and opportunities. I'd like to thank you for coming out today and sharing in this time with me to be able to talk about what's available in Second Life. I'll see you the next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.